Desert Rose going straight into the sex talk. Okay. Debbie, if you're talking about my book, it's on Smashwords, smashwords.com. All you have to do is look up, well, it's kind of a long title. Just look up you can just look up my name on Smashwords, and it'll show my books. And Addie's Boom, and the Blast Frontiers is You Set the Price. I don't know why I did that. I was just trying to get my name out there a little more. But, I mean, these books have been out 2, 3, 4 years now. So, and the other books I'm working on, I've been very slack on. He sent you drops too? Wow. Well, it's, Debbie has a huge following and all these people that know audio and lawyers and everything else. So she's got people that'll do this stuff for her, and I'm not that big yet, so I got to take what I can get. But Debbie, I mean, you have the radio voice. I know other hosts on here, like Crash Jesus, Chris Top. You guys like to talk about Rick Sands. These people all have radio voices. So I have to make up for that, because I have a very average, normal 42-year-old American male's voice. And that means, yeah, Apocalypse, I'll send you all my books for $50 signed. I'll order them and pay shipping and everything. That would come to about even. Yeah, Barco's the first person on Spreaker to buy all my books. I very much appreciate that, Barco, and I hope you're not disappointed. If you are, turn them in for a refund. Last thing I want people to do is say, this book wasn't worth a shit, And my books that are coming are going to be better. Well, I'm not trying to be too hard on myself, Debbie, but you've got a natural knack for it. And I mean that sincerely. I don't lie on this show. When you do a radio show, people go, this sounds like a radio show. When I do a radio show, people go, what the fuck am I listening to here? And then they show up. I think for the same reasons that people show up to Mike Tyson speaking events. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's very unpredictable. And maybe that is the attraction of the show. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I am a broke-ass, Prankville. You know this, man. I'm broke as a bitch. You know what, guys? It's truth on tap. Let me just break it down for you. I have a bum knee that I got in the U.S. Air Force on duty. And you know what I get for that? You know what I get for my bum knee that I can barely walk on? I get about $257 a month, tax-free. Thank you, government. That's it. That's my only income, except when I fix computers, or when I do a little bit of investigative work, or when I sell some books. And let me tell you something. It's no way to live. It's just no way to make it. So based on Paul Dembski's advice, who kind of pushed me over the edge, I am going to file for SSDI. I mean, I am textbook what that program is for. I paid into it for 22 years. I'm taking some back out, goddammit. Yeah, sorry about you, Christians. KAK, I'm going to drive to Virginia. You have to sign my books. What's your address? Well, I'll meet you in a public place, Barco, because I have a feeling you're going to try to yank my pants down and get a photo of my penis. So, RD is the first person ever on Spreaker to say I was his #1 show. Now, he may have been lying. Please don't tell me if you were lying, RD, because let my ego feel that. I don't really have an ego. Once you've gone through the family court system and a nasty old custody battle, it's dead. It's kind of like a deflated balloon laying in a field. But that felt good. That kind of reinvigorated my ego a little bit and made me feel good about myself, So, yes, I have one person on Spreaker, one person. My girlfriend doesn't even admit to this. That says I'm his #1 show. Yeah. Tell me who this pedo hunter is. Is he really a pedophile hunter? And it shouldn't be hard to find pedophiles. All you got to do is pretend to be a 10-year-old girl looking for some cock, and you're going to get them. They're going to come after you. Then you call the cops and hook them. You got them. I mean, that's what what's his name does. The guy in your profile picture there. I don't know where Stabby's been. I can't find him. He is hunting pedos. You'll feel more pain with my anal-friendly dick enters your anus. Well, if it's anal-friendly, why would I feel pain, Barco? You're giving me a lesson in logic here that I haven't had before. You're telling me you have an anal-friendly penis, which I assume means small, yet you're going to tell me I'll feel more pain. What kind of sense does that make? Come on, Barco. You're a smart man. Break it down for me, Barney style. So don't lose her, or else you will have to be a sucker and find work. Yeah, well, Apocalypse, if I didn't have my girlfriend right now, I would be in very, very dire straits. And which was a great band, by the way. Stabby is gathering material to prove the universe is material. That's good. Oh my God. I love you guys in chat. But you know, I got to try to get something going on this show besides what I would probably call narrating the chat. So let's go ahead and pull up a different news source. I like to look at, you know, Google is an aggregate, so they pull in news from all over the place. Looking right now, I've got articles on Google from Fox News, and then they go down to USA Today, you know, Boston.com, Business Week. So I like that about Google News is even though they don't do their own goddamn work, they have a variety there. So I would like to know, what do you guys use for news? Who do you trust? And do you use more than one news source? I think it's incredibly important that you use 2 or 3 or 4 big ones if you want a good, accurate view of what's really going on in the world. There's only one source. If I had to go to a desert island, they said you could only have one newspaper a day. I'd have to say BBC International if it were such a paper, because it seems to me like they're incredibly boring. And do you know what that means? Incredibly boring news is not injecting drama into their news. They're just telling you what the fuck happened. That's all I'm interested in. Maybe you guys have an appetite for a little bit of the drama. I see somebody running into the White House, okay, jumping the fence, and my first thought is that's Hillary's plan for 2016. Yeah, easy access. You jump in, you're in the Oval Office. Boom. So I see things differently than the average person, but I want boring news because I know then that you're not trying to get me hooked on a story to sell papers. That's the first sign that you're a reputable news agency. And even now, I gotta admit, BBC is starting to get on the bandwagon because they realize that it can add to the bottom line. They inject some drama into their news. They can get you hooked on a serial, if you will, news story. Then, I mean, look at what CNN did with MH370. Ridiculous. Total speculation. They never did deal much, in fact. And yet they had people hooked. Everybody wanted to know what happened to MH370. I said the first day to my friends, that fucking plane is at the bottom of the ocean. Shit happens to airplanes, you know, and I still think I'm right. I think they're going to find out it was an electrical or mechanical malfunction and the bastards nosedived. You know, it happens. You're going to fly on a plane, prepare for it. It's still one of the safest ways to travel, statistically. So, statistically, one of those words that's hard to say without sounding drunk, I encourage you aloud in your room right now to say it 3 times fast. Statistically, 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 and not sound drunk. It's my challenge to you. You know, the chat has gone on its own path right now, and I can't keep up with that. One of the many, what you might call shortcomings of my program happens to be the terrible internet connection, the DSL. And we can't afford cable yet, so it's a process. Debbie went to Texas Tech University, great school. That is a great school. Well, where did the rest of you guys go to school? Say it in the chat room. I want to give you shout-outs if it was a good school. If I don't mention your school, then I don't think it was a good school. That's not true. Well, you know. I know Barco went to a couple of schools. Besides the Air Force tech schools that I went to, I went to... Really? Does it sound good, Debbie? Because I have shitty stuff. I'm broadcasting in 64K. Who does that? That sounds like a Blog Talk Radio faux pas. You know, I can't believe it even sounds halfway decent. I wish I knew how to filter out noise and make my voice sound like I was speaking on Apocalypse's mic. And you know, when he calls in, it's like, now you're listening to a professional microphone. And I'm going, okay, I'm on my little tinny fuck-tarded microphone. No. Prankville would like to know what the fuck is Stabby. Stabby is Stabby McHugs. He's quite the fact finder. And I'll tell you what, you can say what you want. Karl Marx University. Stabby McHugs is well versed in logic and reason. And I don't know a lot about him, but I can tell you that he's solid in that area, and even I can appreciate that. Hippy Dippy Granola College in Florida. Cal State for Desert Rose. So you make a case for agnosticism. I know Debbie's Christian. I know that some of you guys in the chat room are Christian. I am agnostic, and most of you guys already know that, so I'm not even going to go into it. But the whole thing is, if you say, how do we get to know Kevin in 3 seconds? I got an easy answer for you. If you want to know Kevin, all you got to think is this: he doesn't know. I don't know anything. I'm not afraid to talk about stuff, but I don't know anything. For all you know, we're plugged in, just like the Matrix. You can't prove we're not. So that leaves a question mark beside everything in my head. And I think to me, it's the closest you can live to total reality. We'll get you in, don't worry, Kevin. Get me into what? What are you talking about, Debbie? I'm confused. The School of Hard Knocks, I've already been through that bitch right there. Yeah, this is a freestyle show, by the way. Anybody coming here looking for some sort of major value or professional news production, you came to the wrong show. But we have fun. Oh, get me into heaven. Okay, thank you, Debbie, because I am objective, and I like to look at things as they are, as I can see them. I realize we only have 5 senses. We may find that if we continue to survive for 1,000,000 years, we suddenly have 30 senses that have evolved, okay? And we have to at least allow for that possibility that maybe we don't know how to sense things that are there yet. I think maybe that's the beginning of the 6th sense. Maybe that's starting to emerge, our next human sense to emerge. But I won't say God doesn't exist. I sure won't. Atheists come and say, God doesn't exist. And I say, prove it. And they got nothing. They got nothing. So I'm just like, well, if you can't prove it, don't claim it, you know. But then I say the same thing to Christians. Prove it. And, well, it's in the rocks and the stars. Well, I don't know, guys. I like to entertain both sides of this story. Talking about religion. Why don't we talk about religion? I'm reading a book right now by a lady who wants to come on my show. And I posted it on the Truth on Tap Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Truth on Tap show for you noobs. Check that out. And her book is called The Fun of Dying. Find out what really happens next. Now, this lady is incredibly intelligent. She's an attorney, and she has had 2 experiences with what she calls light. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about light in the crack pipe. I'm not talking about the light at the end of the tunnel that turns out to be a train. She thinks she's dealt with the afterlife twice when she was young. So she wrote a book, and she wants to talk to people about death and what happens after. And I don't know if she's a Christian or what, but I do know that she believes in life after death, and she's certain of it. So I'm reading the book now. Once I've read the book, I'll have her on the show, and I'll ask her some of the tougher questions, you know, that people probably have not asked her yet. And we'll see how convincing she is about life after death. How many of you believe? How many of you believe that we go on with our conscious thoughts and feelings into a life after death? How many of you in the chat room believe? How many of you believe that we just go 6 feet under and become worm bait? Who is Prankville? Is Prankville and Debbie a new fight I didn't know about, or am I missing something? Whatever happened to being nice to each other? Is he picking on you, Debbie? I'm sorry about that. I let things go in the chat room, though. I mean, unless, you know, there's very few people I'll kick out of a chat room, because I think it adds to the pot of free speech. And Debbie, you're quite capable, as you know, in debate to defend yourself. I think most intelligent people are. So I've had people come in my chat room just going off on me, and I'm like, I'm not blocking you. Go ahead and sit in there and make an ass of yourself. I'll defend myself against any points you make that are halfway valid. Apocalypse says, yes, there must be life after death, because otherwise all we lived or experienced is lost. That seems very depressing, doesn't it, Apocalypse? Extremely depressing. You know, he's a hater. Well, you know, Debbie, I was talking a couple shows ago about people who will attack other hosts, especially the big ones. And it does. Technically, if you think about it, it can get them a couple legs up on the popularity scale. So you can't blame them for that if you're just looking at it from a strict I want to get my show known